Hi there, and welcome to another video on faith and fitness. Today's video is all about triggers. Yes, triggers. What are triggers? Well, I want to say first of all that this is used in psychology. Triggers they happen because of a stimulus, like a smell, a sound, something you see, so sight. It often has to do with the senses, and it is most used, the word trigger, is mostly used with post-traumatic stress. So in my life, because I've gone through the journey with my husband who has post-traumatic stress disorder because he was in law enforcement for 35 years, he has a lot of triggers that he has to cope with. Because of this, I've learned about triggers, and I also know that triggers happen in other aspects of life, like your weight loss journey. So I'm just going to give you an example of a trigger. My husband and I were out for a walk recently, and we heard sirens. Now, because he was in law enforcement, the sirens are a real trigger for him. So as soon as he hears a siren, he immediately gets into this hypervigilant mode. He thinks that he has to rush to an accident scene, and it triggers this memory. That's a trigger from a stimulus. It's a sound. If he sees lights and sirens and ambulances, that's a sight. That also is a trigger for him. So that's sight and sound. Certain smells also trigger him. So because we have worked through this, he has found some techniques to work through and cope with his triggers. And he's doing really well now, just so you know. But I want to relay that into your weight loss journey, into living a happy, healthy life, because we have triggers in our own life that cause us to maybe have this feeling that overtakes us, and we just have this urge to eat processed junk or crap, junk food, packaged food, convenience food, comfort food. Whatever it is, it triggers us. And I'm going to give you an example for this now. Maybe when you think of a birthday party, what's the first thing that comes into your mind? The first couple of thoughts that I get when I think of a birthday party, I think of food and cake, like junk food and cake, which is more junk food. So that's an automatic trigger. I have this sense that, oh, it's going to be so much fun, there's going to be so much food, and I'm going to be eating all this junk, but it's going to be a good time. That is a trigger. And that's a word association, but you also have environmental triggers. I know for myself, when I thought of going into my mom's house, my mom's been gone for many years now, but when I used to think of, oh, I'm going to my mom's house for turkey dinner, as soon as I see myself going into the door, I know there's going to be homemade cookies and baked apple pie and all the trimmings and all this processed junk food that she knows I like. And that's an environmental trigger. It makes me think about this memory, which made me feel good. It was comforting, and it makes me want to go back there and experience that again. So how do we cope with these triggers that make us want to go back to processed junk? Right? That's what you and I need to do. We need to find new ways. We need to be learning and growing, find and make new memories so that they always don't relay back or trigger us back to comfort food. We need to have coping mechanisms so that we can not go back to those unhealthy choices. So how do we do this? One of the first things you can do is to do a food diary. What you should do is, for a week at a time maybe, write down everything that you put into your mouth and write down what made you want to eat that. After a whole week of doing this food diary, you can read back through it and you will be able to pinpoint what it is. Was it boredom that made you reach for junk food? Was it a memory that made you reach for junk food? Was it a trigger that made you go to that junk cupboard to turn back to the comfort food? It's a very interesting experience. It's very necessary to be aware of what triggers you to making those unhealthy choices. And it is learning to step out of your comfort zone. So how do you step out of your comfort zone? Well, one of my mentors always says, if you're not learning or growing, you're dying. And so you and I have to be willing to step out of our comfort zone. We have to be willing to create new memories. We have to be willing to create new and exciting experiences that we can replace those other memories with. And so one of the techniques that my husband's psychology told my husband to use, and I have adopted it, is to have a word that whenever you have a trigger, you use your word to make the shift, to make the change. So my word is cancel. You pick your own word that will work for you. But it's really important to have a word that as soon as you know you're being triggered, you say the word out loud. So for instance, when my husband and I go for a walk and he hears sirens, he knows it's a trigger and he will immediately say, change. That's his word. He'll say, change, change, change. And in fact, sometimes he will even do a 180 turnaround just to refocus him, to refocus his mind, to renew his mind, to change his mind and make him realize that he is right now in the here and now. The sirens, and when he had to go to those events or those accidents or those incidents, that was then, and today is now. So it really helps if you have a word that you can use to counteract those triggers, to get rid of the negativity that comes into your mind, to re-alter, to shift the mind into thinking that I don't need to do that anymore. I have a new and a better way that's helping my body. So it's really important to learn about your triggers for your own sake, for your own benefit, for your own health, and for your own weight loss. So I encourage you to pick your word that you will use. My word is cancel, and I love it. So when I am tempted to make the wrong choice, say I'm going out for dinner, I can still make good choices going out for dinner. And if I'm tempted, or if, say, we're going into a pub, this is a great analogy, or another scenario. Often when you go into a pub, you automatically think burger and fries. But you don't have to have burger and fries when you go into a pub. Pubs usually have really good food, but they have good health food as well. You can just ask for dressings on the side. You can have a blackened chicken. You can have glazed salmon. There are many healthy choices. You just have to rewire your brain. So maybe your word's going to be rewire. Whatever it is, renew. I like to have my word is cancel, and that's in my head already, so I'm leaving my word as cancel. But when you use your word and you state it out loud, you will really step out of that trigger. It's a coping mechanism, and it works. I hope this has helped you, and I will talk to you again real soon. If you haven't already, please click the button and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss my upcoming videos. Have a great day canceling your negative thoughts. Bye for now.